Welcome to another episode of How Good Are X Weapons. Today we're gonna take a look at Engineer. So Engineer doesn't have a lot of weapons, but the ones that Engineer has are very, very strong. So let's start right with just the quick disclaimer. This is a discussion about where I talk about the different weapons a class has access to while providing my input on how power scaling, condition scaling there are. So this is for new players that are interested in which weapons they should use, or for veterans that want to get some more insight on build crafting and theory crafting on their own. Please let me know your takes on these weapons as well in the comments, but now let's start. So let's start with the main hand weapons. The first one would be Sword. Sword is very straightforward. It's a power-based weapon that does a lot of damage. Weirdly enough, has also some bleeding on it, but it's only like a power-based weapon. It's really interesting with the above 50% heat damage increase. That's making it very Holosmith favored, of course, but even on Scrapper, or if you really wanted to run a power mech, you can actually make that work as well. But I think on power mech, Rival is better, and for the most part, I would say Sword is very nice in what it can do. It has some nice leap, it has some nice quickness access as well, and overall very nice melee power-based weapon. I think overall very nice. I like the design, I like the just straightforwardness of the weapon, and I feel like it's very fitting to Holosmith, but can be used on a Scrapper as well. I think that's all I have to say about it. Then we have Mace. Mace is, I would say, the same. Mace is like, it's designed very clearly to be a mechanist weapon because it does some nice condis while still applying a lot of barrier, vigor, and region to your allies, and having a nice stun. So it's a condi support weapon, and that's exactly what it's filling. You know, it's perfect for that. It's very good in the kit. It's only 3 skills, but it covers a lot of condis. It covers CC, it covers blast finishes and leap finishes, and has nice barrier access. They removed the barrier on the auto attack, so that's a little bit sad. It's not the best support weapon anymore, but it's still a very good one. And the confusion, of course, on an auto attack is very strong in PvE. So, no, Condi mech, very nice. So overall, I would say nice weapon for builds that want to have some supportive elements or are a little bit selfish and want to be a Condi weapon. We have Pistol, and that's the sad part. Pistol is, I would say, mostly overshadowed by Mace if you can be melee, because Pistol is a ranged Condi weapon that doesn't have any support. It's just very straightforward Condi damage. Bleeding, confusion, and poison. That's it. And it's from range. That's the good part. But the sad part is you don't have any support, nothing that helps you. It's very aggressive. And I would say the aggressiveness is there. You can make a build that does some high damage with Pistol. But for the most part, I feel like Mace is a little bit stronger in a lot of situations because you have the nice barrier access and healing and stuff and blast finish and so on. So I feel like the Pistol is like your very aggressive glass cannon choice, but for the most part, the Mace does a job that is very similar and is a little bit more defensive. So I feel like the Pistol main hand is a little bit weaker. And we are already through with the main hand weapons. Let's now go to the offhand weapons. So let's stay with Pistol and go for the offhand. The offhand Pistol is a very weak offhand. Yeah, you have a very nice damage skill on your 4. That's good, but it's more like a melee weapon in that sense. And then you have the 5 skill, which is really good in a competitive scenario, but it's also very aggressive because it's just giving you a blast and an unblockable immobilize. Yeah, that can be really nasty. It does some damage as well, but it's very aggressive, and you would never choose the Pistol in a competitive mode. You only choose it in PvE, and even there it's not a very broken offhand. Yeah, why would you not choose it in a competitive mode? Because the other offhand, the only other offhand that Engineer has access to, is Shield, and Shield is so broken. It has Reflect, it has a blast finisher, it has a daze, it has a, so to say, stun when they hit you while you block. It's actually insane. You have 2 block skills here, or reflects rather, and a lot of damage denial with CC. It's really, really good. It's in competitive modes always the choice if you have a main hand weapon. It's really, really good. And the blast finisher and the projectile finisher is of course is always something on top of that. It's really, really good. I would say Shield is always the choice. I think in competitive mode you would never consider an offhand pistol if you're a really tryhard player. That's just the truth, sadly. But if you're in PvE, I would say pistol can be worthwhile to run if you're full glass cannon. Let's now quickly take a look at the Harpoon Gun, which is the underwater weapon. I would say it's a covered condi and power damage because it's the only weapon an Engineer has access to underwater, and has some nice CC as well, but overall I would say it's not one of the best underwater weapons. It's okay. But of course we don't play a lot of underwater, so that's just for completionist's sakes. It also take quickly a look at the Photon Forge because it's here. The Photon Forge, I would say, is Very nice. It has a lot of CC, blast finishers, a lot of damage. It has a lot of barrier if you use the Corona Burst trade. And you have a really nice leap finisher that also gives super speed when you have to trade. Overall, it's very crazy how versatile the Holo Forge is. So I think the Holo Forge is, of course, it has to be strong because it's, you know, so like your shroud, and it costs a lot of heat that you generate, and it might kill you in the end. But it's very, very good if you can play it and you can manage your heat. So I think the Holo Forge is the best weapon that Engineer has access to. But of course, that's only because you can't stay forever in there. Let's now take a look at the two-handed weapons. So we start with Hammer. Hammer, originally only for Scrapper, but now for every elite spec, and it's extremely strong. You have some nice CC on the 5 skill, you have a block, you have an evade, you have a reflect, you have a lot of damage. It's melee, yes, but if you can play melee and you are power build, Hammer is the superior choice, almost always. It's really, really good. The utility for competitive modes is insane, and even in PvE, it's very useful for most situations because damage is also very high. The auto attack chain is in crazy amounts of damage as well. So overall, very, very good weapon for almost any elite spec that is not Condi based. Really, really good. And we have Shortbow. Shortbow is very interesting. Shortbow is designed as a support weapon, but also does some nice damage. So there are builds in PvP and World vs. World that actually playing a Shortbow on a DPS build because it's a ranged AoE weapon that has some nice damage to it, while still having very crazy good amount of utility with super speed, with chains that can apply protection, that can apply blast finishers, that can apply stuns, deal some healing, Condi cleanses. So, you know, the utility of the Shortbow is also useful in a DPS build because it's not scaling with healing power all the time. So that's really, really good. You of course can make a support build with it because of all the nice kit in the support Shortbow skills, but it's also in a damage build. So I would say Shortbow is heavily underrated in what it can actually do, and is very useful in all game modes for that matter. It's really nice. It's not the easiest weapon to play, but I think it's a very cool designed weapon. It's very fun and extremely strong. So be sure to give it a try. And then we have Rival. Rival got a rework very recently, and I would say the rework made it so that Rival is very strong on a lot of builds. So you can make it work in our mechanism. It's very easy, very straightforward. Just spam your auto attack. Other than you have some nice leap finisher and some nice CC and immobilize. So overall, very good kit. Rival, very strong from range. Very nice DPS from range. It's very easy and very safe power weapon. Of course, if you're melee, you would always go for hammer or sword rather. But in ranged on a mech, for example, you can play it very easily, low intensity build with Rival. Spear is, so to say, the very overpowered Condi weapon, because it's not only scaling with power, but also with condition damage very well. So you have a very nice hybrid build weapon as well, but mostly it's used for Condi build in melee range. It has some nice leaps, it has some very passive aggressive damage, it has some nice CC, it has an evade on there and blast finisher. It's very overloaded, a lot of burning and a lot of bleeding. It's very, very strong weapon for a Condi build. I would say probably the strongest weapon of Engineer overall, because you can make it work in any game mode with almost any game gear stats. It's really, really good. It's very helpful for anyone that has chance wilds to try out Spear. It's really, really good. So, and that's already all the weapons that Engineer has access to, and I think they're actually quite really well balanced. I think the only exception is maybe pistol, mainhand, and offhand. Other than that, all the weapons are actually very, very nicely balanced and very useful in a lot of situations. So let me know your comments on this. And thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like that. Thanks to all my supporters on YouTube, Twitch, and Patreon. To see you all in the next video.